I do want to say a little bit about auxiliary and linking verbs, not because, again, they're tested directly, but because they are part of other topics, and I just want to make sure we cover the most basic ground to make everything else fit together and make sense. So linking verbs are verbs that provide more information about the status of a noun. So the most basic one is to be, right? Something is something, something is being something. It tells us something about that noun, something about what it is, what it's doing, its status. So John is late. So John, subject, is our verb, and this is called the verb complement, but don't need to know that. Basically, it's just telling us what John is. John is late. It's an adjective here. The movie theater was packed. Here we could have it with past tense, right? Subject, verb, and a past participle telling us what the movie theater was. The candy tastes sweet. Not only do you have to use to be, or not only can you use to be, you can use other verbs like tastes. So the candy tastes sweet tells us something about the candy. Tom seems tired, right? So we can use seem here. The salesman seemed sketchy. In both of these cases, we learn something about the noun through the linking verb. Auxiliary verbs, which are related to linking verbs, have two major uses. One, they're used to form compound tenses, which we've seen already with the tense video, or they show possibility, necessity, or ability, and these are called modal verbs. You don't need to know that. You just need to know basically that these are of that form. So the team is playing. So notice this is a compound tense. It's present progressive, present continuous, and there you go. It's a compound tense. It uses this linking or auxiliary verb with our present participle. I was waiting for Victor when I got the call. Was waiting. Past continuous, right? We've seen these forms before in the tense video. I have been waiting. So here are some more linking verbs, right, that tell us what we're doing, right? I have been waiting. So it's part of a compound tense. Here are some modal verbs. John can play the piano. This is a modal because it shows possibility, necessity, or ability. You should visit your grandmother when you travel through Boston. Should is another modal. The city will be holding a 3-day celebration of its 100th anniversary. Again, another kind of one of these verbs, will be. And the main thing that might come up with modals is whether you should use the infinitive or the participle. But for most native speakers, that's not much of an issue. I'm not going to spend time going over it. And I don't want to linger too much on this topic because it is very minor. But just keep this in mind. If you ever hear me say linking verb or auxiliary, just so you know what I'm talking about.